for one of our clients, we saw like 8-time increase in traffic and revenue, and their AI visibility jumped from like almost zero to $40,000 purchases done purely by like Reddit optimization. So that's why I created this webinar to talk more about this topic, share our strategy for AI clicks and for our clients, what's working, how to really think about Reddit optimization and how it like connects with general brand visibility in Google and ChatGPT and all the LLMs as well. We will talk more about this together with Matas and Rokas, co-founders at AI Clicks. From our own experience, we made multiple clients like huge amount of traffic just by Reddit optimizations. The same goes with like branded impressions on Google. So for the same brand, saw like 6-fold increase in branded impressions, so from like 200K into like almost 1,200,000 impressions per month, just by purely doing pretty much the same strategy that we will talk through in this topic. I created like more like shorter guide on like LinkedIn, Reddit SEO guide. 400,000 people saw this guide on Reddit. Thousands of people downloaded. I got like lots of great feedback on this topic, and I just wanted to connect with you all guys. So what we'll talk more about today is 5 different topics that I want to cover in this webinar, all related to Reddit optimization. So first, we'll talk more around the numbers, on how actual, what type of value, you could get from like Reddit optimization. Is it like for all of the businesses or just certain like niches and industries? How Reddit is impacting AI visibility, and what you can expect in general. Secondly, Matas will join us and we'll talk more about like practical and theoretical, like we'll share practical and theoretical knowledge, how we think about Reddit and what are the key layers of Reddit optimization you can use. And what we see that most of the brand uses right now for optimizing for Reddit. I'll talk more about how we can like actually engage in Reddit threads and what are the comment strategies you could follow. Matas will talk more about like post writing and why you need to create engaging posts and what you need to know before you do that. And lastly, we will like wrap up this with a checklist, for each and every brand, what you need to take like right now, next day, or any day, you want to start optimizing Reddit. So that's pretty much the plan. And usually, like this webinar should take around like 1 hour. We'll talk through all of the strategies. We'll share our findings, our client ideas, and case studies, that we have, and also we'll share everything that's working for us right now. So let's get started straight in. Why Reddit is connected to AI visibility and why this topic is popping right now as hard as never. So to start, Reddit itself, it's a well-established brand, like website all over web. Usually it's in every stats that you can see right now, it's in top 10 multiple rankings in Google, in ChatGPT. It's well-cited website. As you see, like from SimilarWeb, it's usually from 8th to 6th position from month to month. Moreover, because of AI platforms like ChatGPT and Perplexity, we are training their models on Reddit as well. So we bought, like together with Google and OpenAI, we bought 130 million licensing deals to just train their AI models based on Reddit data. And why we are doing, of course, because Reddit offers you like very unique data sets with user-generated content. That is not robotic, that's unique. You can share and get like personal views, unfiltered opinions, and all of that stuff. So these AI companies are really interested in such data sets, and because these models are trained on that, of course, they are citing this in like Reddit, in the ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity responses. And that's why Reddit importance just grew in the last couple of months or even years. And like some of the examples, why Reddit is so important. So even if you go to like just to Perplexity, you would select like social search, you will see that Reddit optimization, like Reddit threads, Reddit comments are flooding the recommendations that it will give you. Usually, like there are like multiple tools and LLMs that just gives you responses based on Reddit threads. So for most, like majority of brands, like their Reddit visibility is getting like real traction in terms of like AI answers and AI recommendations, because AI tends to source their like its opinions and recommendations based on Reddit optimization. From the data that we see inside the AI clicks and like multiple of other SEO tools, we also see that like Reddit is getting usually in the top 5 position for most digital first brands, for like SaaS, e-commerce, like agencies. Reddit is in this type of industries, Reddit is really popular. Of course, we don't want to say that like Reddit is like the silver bullet, for your brand visibility for every industry. Of course, if you're like more in like traditional business, like manufacturing, maybe like you're like a school marketing person, or whatever it might be. Of course, Reddit might not be visible for you in like for other type of businesses, but usually Reddit is pretty citable, and that's why we need to understand and we need to know like how it all ties up and how we can engage basically. And even if like you don't see or you don't think that like Reddit is important for your AI visibility, that AI doesn't cite Reddit threads in your niche. Last but not least, of course, Google also is really interconnected with Reddit. It cites and shows you all of these Reddit threads, and usually in the first page for multiple high commercial intent keywords. As you see, like especially in the last months, Reddit is getting like really viral on Google as well. It's being cited at the top for multiple of these keywords. Google introduced like discussion and forums section as well, as you see. So if you want, just to be general visible, Reddit optimization would really help you. Wrap up what in some data points that we see why Reddit is so important, not only talking about like Google and Perplexity and ChatGPT recommendations, but in general. So we see that AI and other engines loves that user-generated content, and that's why Reddit is getting so much importance. It's mostly like one of the most unique ideas and topics aggregator in all of the internet. And of course, everyone wants to get these insights and share it in their content and in their responses. There are multiple high commercial intent threads inside Reddit itself where people are actually discussing products and features, and that's why AI loves to cite this, especially when you would ask for any sort of recommendation for your like best mobile phone, or shoes, or software that you are using. We also see that some interesting data that actually like upvotes don't really matter for your content, and AI really picks that user-generated part where you show like real and direct and helpful information, and it doesn't need to be like the most viral one. So that's of importance. And also what we see is that you don't need to always tackle and try to be on Reddit like 24/7. Usually the most cited Reddit threads are already like rated in this time, 1 year, half a year ago. And the best strategies is actually to engage in Reddit threads that are already generating lots of organic Google traffic, as well as like ChatGPT citability, like it has like a lot of like ChatGPT LLMs citability, and that's why we'll talk more about comments in the next sections. So that's like a little of wrap up, getting the data, getting the some insights, why it's visible and why it's so important. And right now we'll go more into like actual like practical steps, that you need to create in order to optimize. Matas will talk more about our like findings and how we like recap our own Reddit strategy, and later on we'll move to that next details. So, Matas?
Yep. Thank you, Rokas. Thank you for this introduction. Thank you for showing the background of Reddit's importance. Right now, we'll go to more practical tips. So when we are engaging with Reddit, we are understanding that there are like several layers that how are we operating in it. So there are two layers that we are distincting it. These are like thought of ourselves, like it's not like rocket science or something, but this is how we are operating. So one thing is we want to engage in those comments, in those threads where it's already, there's a lot of organic traffic presence happening in Reddit. So that's the layer one that we are calling. The other layer is we are creating our own Reddit threads for the keywords or for the traffic, potential traffic users that we want to attract to. So I will talk about both of those layers in a sec. So being in the top comment, like engaging in the top comment as a top comment in the organic threads that are driving the most traffic is our go-to strategy when we are speaking about Reddit. Because of the reasons that what Rokas previously explained, that how Reddit is being loved by Google, how it's being cited a lot by different LLMs. This is we want to do the process to gather all the relevant Reddit threads that are relevant for us. This is the main keyword, which are relevant for us, for our business. Check their organic traffic, what is their traffic value, and then prioritize in engaging them. So how this process is being done, it's a quite, we can think complex, but we can like differentiate in some simple steps. So first, of course, we want to identify those top Reddit threads. We want to create those comments and prioritize them. We want to post, of course, those comments, because if we do not post them, like it's what's of it, and we want to upvote them. So we will talk about all those simple steps in a bit. So how do we identify different Reddit threads? We are using basically our own keyword research, and we scrape Google results like I would say massively. So that is we are using our own internal data that we are gathering. What kind of keywords are we ranking for right now, or we would love to that our users would find us, and we scrape the Google results, which I show like how like it happens like in a bit. And of course, we're using AI clicks for that as well, because AI clicks basically filters out our relevant threads that we could engage in. So the keyword research part is, imagine if you would take every single keyword and just simply Google it and check whether or not there are Reddit threads or not. So this is how like scraping would happen if you would do this like in bulk. Like if you do it for thousands of keywords, and you would scrape the Google search results and pass the information to I don't know, Google Sheet or to somewhere else, and you would basically have all the lists of if in this keyword there's a Reddit thread or multiple Reddit threads, there's basically this this final result that we want to get. What kind of Reddit threads are ranking for different keywords? So this process, I mean, scraping, it's quite complex, but I mean in this era of web scrapers and etc., this is a pretty simple infrastructure that you can easily build, especially with AI. Or, of course, I wouldn't say or. This is an additional thing, an additional layer on how we are researching different threads, is we're using our own tool, AI Clicks, which basically helps us to differentiate the relevant threads that are currently used as sources, as Rokas mentioned, because Reddit is a huge source as a citation in different prompts. We're using AI Clicks just to find out whether or not, or how many different Reddit threads are there in our prompt answers. And surprisingly, there's a really big really big distinction, I mean, between the ones that we are finding in our, let's say, Google queries and the ones that we are finding in AI answers. Of course, there are a lot of overlaps, but combining these two strategies simply helps us to differentiate, like, and to find out the majority of our own topic and most relevant Reddit threads. Because simply, for example, in this case, with the AI clicks, we know for what kind of prompts these threads are being triggered, how often are they being triggered as answers. So these metrics make sense for us. Moving forward, we carefully create comments for every single thread that we are finding. Rokas will talk a little bit more about comment creation, but this is the process that we are not missing. Like, we are aligning every single thread that we found for every single keyword, whether it's organic traffic, whether or not they're gaining any traffic from LLM sources, and we are carefully writing comments that would fit the subreddit, that wouldn't be too promotional. We want to be like soft promotional, but we don't want to spam, and we don't want to trigger any moderators that we delete us. It happens. Comments gets deleted, but our job is to minimize the threshold of how it gets deleted. And more about those details, Rokas actually will explain about comment creation. So further, like, after we are writing the comments, we want to know how many upvotes we will need, because Reddit has this I mean, quite simple thing. Usually the top comment is the one that has the most upvotes. Well, at least it's the default filter that Reddit threads are being shown off. So basically, you would need to have the most upvotes in that thread for your brand to be visible as number one in that thread. And this is what we want to do. We don't want just to write comments, because we want those comments to be visible. So we are analyzing and prioritizing, okay, based on the relevancy of the thread, based on the organic traffic that it generates, or on the organic value, on the how much frequently it's being cited, and how much upvotes do we need. This is how we're prioritizing what goes next for us, because all of this matters. I mean, there are some upvotes, some threads that requires like hundreds of upvotes to be done, and we are knowing that we are upvoting with our own accounts, with a pool of our high karma maintained accounts. This is quite important thing to consider, because we don't want to go head straight like to biggest upvote count of threads. So after analyzing all of this data, we're building like this into our own simple spreadsheets. It's time for us to attack, let's say, engage in those Reddit threads with those high karma accounts. So we are creating those comments. We are, as mentioned, we have a lot of big accounts in our pool that we're constantly maintaining, growing. They are like high karma accounts, and we are simply using different tactics to post those comments. Sometimes those comments can be non-promotional because of the pattern of like comments getting deleted. So we are participating in more of a value-driven more, and then engaging in the brand mention like further down in the replies. But we want to own our top results, top comments with our own with our own comments basically. So after delivering the comments and after writing those comments, and if they stay there, it's very important for us to maintain that, because Reddit is dynamic. Like, users are just writing new comments, they are upvoting, the landscape changes there in the threads. So we want to support the comments, and we mean by support is that we want to maintain the first position. If we successfully catch the first position with our comment, we want to maintain that it would be the first position, because it's dynamic, as mentioned. So this is the one of the maintenance that we have. So for example, with AI clicks, we have like about 200 of those threads that we are constantly checking whether or not it's still there, it's not deleted, if it's if we need more upvotes or more replies for that. So all of this layer one is actually as mentioned pretty our direct strategy of how we actually achieve those numbers before Rokas showed that, due to the fact that we are already targeting the threads that is already being has a lot of engagement. The problem is that sometimes you cannot target those threads. Either they are too old, moderators are very strict and does not allow any like additional comments. Maybe they're archived, maybe you cannot mention any brand names, because this could happen. So we want as well to we're doing this layer tactic, which is basically we're creating our own threads, not subreddits. Like we're creating under a subreddit a thread that would target the keyword that we're aiming for. Creating other subreddits is also a good idea, which is a more time consuming, but this is also a good idea. But this is not the topic of this webinar. But creating threads and then using the engagement that we gathered in that created thread, then we use the same tactic that we use in layer 1, that is comment with our own controlled account, softly inserting and promoting AI clicks or our own brand, whichever it is. So the process is pretty much the same. We want to do a keyword research. We want to write those comments, track results, and like embed different brand mentions. So this is the same thing, really like similar thing that with layer 1. The thing is that with keyword, like knowing that we have all the keywords that we would want to optimize for or users to find us for, we are simply doing that. We are mapping out all of those keywords. We are collecting specific subreddits and where do we want to engage in, because like for us, like we wouldn't, since we're like a SaaS, an SEO tool, AI Clicks is the one, we wouldn't, there would be no chance for us to be in a e-commerce Reddit or I don't know, proxy scraper like a Reddit subreddit. It would be like instantly either deleted or not relevant. So we are choosing carefully the subreddits that we are that we want to be in. And actually, a really good like thing how you can decide with that is actually like AI Clicks itself. Like we know that if there's a lot of sources, if Reddit is a lot often mentioned in as sources, we are seeing its own like title and URL structure. We know what kind of different subreddits is the most popular, so we can use this information for us to say, okay, we want to be in B2B marketing subreddit, we want to be in LLM visibility subreddit, because this is one of the most highest frequent subreddits. So we are mapping out those different subreddits, and we are creating content, which is really important thing, like how the content should look like. I will talk about it in a bit. So, but basically, it really replicates the whole strategy of how we would do Reddit would be your own kind of blog or page. Like you would have to, create different types of useful and engaging content for the community that would trigger that they would want to answer and help you. So that's either like usually for us it's more those simple help me out questions, but we are seeing a lot of patterns that, for example, this different listicles, like these are the best tools I found for XYZ, works really like a lot. Different use cases and case studies, sharing those works actually in the Reddit threads. And it actually triggers a lot of engagement. But the one tactic that we found, if you will look at it, is those simple questions that we're saying, what kind of tools are you using? How can I do this? What is that? And users are basically, so there's a double-edged sword in that, because a lot of other brands will use the same tactic and say, hey, use this, your brand. But your mission is to be the number one comment there. Like you're allowing other brands to also to be in that conversation, but your main objective is for you to be that number one comment, like out of that. So this simple question, like content type, just basically triggers engagement from other users in Reddit. So after we find out map out every keyword subreddit and the content, we are placing those comments with different high karma accounts, different IPs. We want to show this different we don't post with the same Reddit accounts in different subreddits. We want to post with different accounts with different IPs and fingerprints, because basically this is the thing that would minimize the detection of different moderators and etc. And it would just be very fishy for other users, because the same account just simply posted the same thread in 10 different subreddits. So that's not the way where we want to go. And after the post generate enough interaction, like that, the enough is just basically subjective. But if we're seeing that there's a lot of comments, upvotes, and engagement happening, I see that I put two same screenshots. Sorry about that. But basically, we want to enter the conversation once we're seeing there's a lot of traction happening in the subreddits, and we are seeing that this is happening. We are seeing that we're generating like thousands of views basically from our own created subreddits, and even the numbers are not that like it's all on like what 20 30 13 upvotes, comments, but the views there are massive. So this layer 2 is basically, it shouldn't go as let's say instead of layer 1. We should do the layer 1 stuff. That is, we want to engage in those most top organic traffic driven Reddit threads, but we want to do as well supplementary as in layer 2. We can use this as a like fallback method, but these two strategies really work great together, and we shouldn't choose one over another. So basically, this is the two types of layers. One is go towards most organic traffic threads. The other is create your own traffic, create your own Reddit threads to attract different Reddit users. Yeah, and Rokas, I think you're muted, but you can take the stage and take the mic. Yeah.
Yes, thanks for saying so. Let's go into like Reddit comment strategies and how you should like rate. And like as Matas mentioned already, like I would say from the first time viewer perspective, like writing comments on Reddit might be not the most popular idea, let's say, or like the first idea that you would get. Usually, like from my own perspective, like Reddit was one of the 5 actions that I started to make when I was like reading multiple of like tools and ideas, and then actually like AI Clicks was born, and I was alone without Matas and all the expert help. I also thought like that Reddit is like the place to be and create content about, but I didn't start with like writing comments. I wanted to create my own like thread, my own page inside Reddit. It's like actually visible right now, but nothing really happens. And after like a couple of weeks of huge efforts and actions, I just stopped creating content because I didn't see like the actual results. And like I see the same mistake or like the same pattern happening with multiple brands inside our niche, inside multiple industries, that people may think, that I need to create my own like Reddit page, or maybe I should try to create like viral posts, that will get like hundreds of views and thousands of like upvotes. And of course, it is possible to create such posts to get that traffic, but it's like really hard. It happens pretty rarely, and if you want to like invest in Reddit optimization with like the best possible ROI for your like energy and money you spend on Reddit, I would say like, and Matas already shared, like that Reddit comments are the ones that you need to think about, even though we might not be as popular and nice looking as you might expect. And of course, why Reddit comments work, and like wrap up, people are already like paying attention to these threads. There are a lot of organic traffic. You have a possibility to naturally engage in these comments. So you won't be like promotional. The possibility of Reddit banning you in comment section are a bit like it is really smaller instead of like comparing to creating content on all these threads. Because you put your service or product naturally into the already generated content. And so how we create all of these comments, I will share a couple of ideas for you to take away, sharing my own examples and my own strategies that we implemented. And of course, we replicated with more like really big numbers of accounts based on the findings that we got. But before that, I will talk more about actual mistakes that we see and that makes the Reddit accounts banned, or not see the actual, not see the value of the investment for their comments or content created in the platform. And so the first problem that we see is basically rushing in creating content on Reddit, but because of these filters that we have, because of the restrictions that Reddit uploads almost every few weeks, it's pretty hard, just to be promotional on Reddit, because lots of people are already doing that. They're trying to automate that stuff with AI automations and all the similar things. And of course, Reddit doesn't want to be like that. We value user-generated content, and we try to leave it as authentic as it can be. And that's why you shouldn't go into Reddit and start smashing out your brand mentions, making promotional posts or comments, whatever, because they might think that you are a robot, and they will ban you, and all of your domain or authority that you got before will be doomed. So that's one. Also, you shouldn't think about Reddit as any other platform like LinkedIn, Instagram, or other social media channel. Reddit, the community is really strict. We don't like promotional content, and casually dropping links, pinging your product might also not work the best, because the audience are strict. We want authentic messaging. We want authentic stories and tips and value out of the content that you create. That's why you also need to think in terms of content strategy, and try to create more Reddit-like experience or more Reddit-like content. So that's why I will be sharing some of examples and formats that work for us. And yeah, that's a couple of these points I wanted to make before going forward, because as you will see, Reddit, it's not rocket science, as Madas already said, but it's also not many of these platforms that we are used to. So we think, or we saw that 5 comment strategies works the best, or we try to write comments by following these 5 principles that we found by doing and learning by practice. Because of course, before making all of these results, making all of this content work, we made almost all of these mistakes ourselves, and we learned by doing that it's not the best way to do Reddit optimization. So what are these strategies or comments angles that you could try? Direct mention of your brand, if you do it in place and organically, but of course with no links. If you're actively sharing that you have this biased opinion because you're a founder of a business, or a team member of a business that you would like to recommend in the thread, and if you do it in really honest way, and you don't want to just hide it, that you're promotional, it might work, because as I mentioned, honesty and unique views always are valid on this platform. Optional alternative comments, where you basically just give overview of the industry or propose solutions, and just casually plug your business, and not even actually saying that you are representative of this company or business or offer that you're trying to sell. Personal stories and discussion threads also really work. So of course it might be sound right now a bit more complicated, because we don't have these examples, but I will share you each and every example for the ones I mentioned in this post. So the first one, direct mention, how we can try to think about these threads when you already have a list and you already want to engage in tens or hundreds of these threads that you found. Direct mention method that we discovered and we are actually using is by basically just very shortly, with no like ChatGPT generated content and whatsoever, just plug your, tool and say, why it's different, why it's unique, why it can help you, why your service or business is such a great value. If you try, and sometimes, you might be deleted because it's like the thread context is not about the commercial content, not about like business recommendations. But if, like, for example, the original thread is just asking for like recommendations, you can do that and you can plug it. It's not like a big deal. As you see, I do like lots of like, I spend like a couple of hours every week just looking at these threads and trying to create a similar content. It's not a very big deal, but it can really get you like lots, like pretty good amount of visibility and impressions on this one. The second one, as I mentioned, like that's honesty and founder angle or team angle, where you're disclosing that you're a team member of certain product, and just you say, okay, I can recommend you this business or service or offer. I'm the founder, and I'm the team member, and you can just chat with me. You could get a personal recommendation from me. We could give you like some extra benefits because we are like close to customers. We are close to the problem that we are facing, and this type of strategy really works well for us because we are always like trying to exclude ourselves in the market by just saying, that we are as close to the customer as possible. We have like best customer support, and if like people see that you're like actually with them from spending time in these threads and creating content there, they will see, they will like that, and they will book a demo with you. They will book like some, and like they will go into the next step, that you would like them to go. The third option and the third comment thread that we see, that we saw is working, is like this list of options or alternatives angle, where we basically try to be a bit more hidden, in our recommendations. So if these first few were like more direct and you just disclose that you are like promoting this and that brand, or you are like even a member of this brand, the first section, the third tip, is more about writing more hidden idea behind the comment, or just trying to be more overview the industry, overview the problem, and just plug your business in a very minimal way. So in this case, we are just saying, okay, somebody is asking for tool recommendation, and we say, okay, these are like legacy tools. These are the legacy options, the boring ones, let's say, the ones that everybody is already using. And you could think about like from this angle in your own business, because like, markets are moving, different options are appearing, and you could just disclose your business as a better alternative in multiple ways. So we do the same, in this case, we say that, okay, Hrefsemrush, we are good for classic SEO, but our tool, our platform is good because of these unique selling points, unique capabilities that these legacy tools don't have. So of course, in this case, it might be like it looks like even more promotional. Sometimes you just say, okay, I tried this and that tool, but this one, our tool, is a bit better. So don't be like, as I mentioned, each and every comment doesn't have links. It's not every time like promotional, but you try to fit into the context of a thread that you are creating content about. The fourth type, or the fourth comment, that we see is working personal story or educational content. So sometimes we try, when we are writing these comments, we don't want to be like constantly like just republishing the same comment, just copy pasting it from thread to thread, but we want to give like actual value for the community that we are engaging with, give some additional context. And the content format that I really like is more about like education. So if like somebody is asking for a problem solution, we want to hear more about the topic, we just say, explain the core problem, explain how we solve that problem, and in some sort of like 5 steps, that you need to make in order to solve that problem. We could like mention that our brand might help you to do that one certain problem, one certain bullet point out of your huge list. So in this case, we pretty much say the same. We share like how we optimize for AI, and you just don't say use AI clicks or use our platform to optimize for AI, but we just say, okay, you need to generate the prompt ideas, you need to create content, you need to join Reddit, you need to like track that visibility, and just in one part, okay, you say that we use this and that platform, we use this and that solution in order to solve a problem, and you go on and you go on, and this like brand mention just plugs organically, and nobody might even think that you're like a business owner, you want to promote your platform. And the last step, or the last format that we see is working, it's more like a discussion angle, where you don't even promote the business in your comment at first. You just try to make a discussion inside the Reddit thread. You might just ask some questions for the people, for them to answer, give them like place to talk and share their thoughts. And only when we do that, when you share their unique points, you plug your business or you plug your service. In this case, it's more like asking about, how can I help, what you're using, what you want to accomplish. And when you ask, one person, says that we want to solve the problem that you're solving for your clients, you plug your business, or you just say, that you can do that with our platform solution or service. So discussions really works, if you have more time, if you have like a bigger marketing team, that could engage and just promote and educate your target audience. And yeah, just to wrap up, like a couple of comments that we make, like direct. Sometimes if it works, you could try an experiment and see, if it's getting deleted or not. The team angle, the options and alternatives angle, the personal story or educational, and the discussion one. These are the type of comments that we try to create, and all of them is like, you can try to create similar like ideas or like formats of any AI tool. It will help you to create and craft some of the copy itself. But as we always say, don't be too perfect. Try to be very correct, grammatically correct. Sometimes you could make like some mistypes. Try to be as human as possible. Don't like include like long dashes and stuff like that. Pretty much it's very simple. You just more, I would say, it's not about how you write, but about what type of idea you want to pursue and accomplish with your content. So that's pretty much the wrap up on how we write comments. Matis will join us and we'll talk more about how we try to not only create comments, but create posts and content inside these threads.
Yeah, I just want to add an important notion. Like, commenting is a more simple thing actually than actually making the comment stick, or making the post stick actually, which is a more technical process that we're doing both on AI Clicks and agency. So yeah, this is just an addition. So yeah, about how to write the posts, which is basically the layer 2 option that I mentioned. What Rokas covered is the layer 1, of when we are commenting on the specific posts. So what we are seeing, what kind of types of posts are actually getting cited from in different AI search, or maybe even in Google, is several different types, which is really relates to what is working right now actually on Google. This could change, of course, but this is what's working. So these are the best listicles, best comparison posts, experience or case studies, problem solutions, and simple questions. And I will go one by one, from every single post. So those best X for Y is basically like best AI tools for SEO in 2026. These type of posts, or maybe we can call them listicles. So we can see that those listicles are actually performing really well in both LLMs, they are being cited, and we know that from the SEO landscape that these are actually the ones, the types of pages right now, page types, that is working as well in SEO. I mean, you can write best listicles and expect that you would get a lot of gains. And right now, basically, people are using this best listicle type just to utilize the Reddit's domain authority and to rank for the keyword that they want. So in this case, this best AI tool keyword should probably rank for this Reddit thread. Well, we know that this is a thread that is getting a lot of citations, and for us it would be a strategic point in AI Clicks way to be there mentioned as one of the posts. But we have created the post ourselves, so which is basically we are already covered in that. Different case studies, experiences, sharing your thoughts on findings is what as well is working, and we are seeing the same correlation. I mean, the listicles getting straight to the point, like in terms of answering the user question, the probable user question, giving out summaries, key takeaways, and listicles. This is the same thing that is working right now in blog posting and when we're writing different content. So people are using actually this as a tactic as well on Reddit to find their own findings, basically find their findings. So they are summarizing what they saw, what you researched. This could be in a listicle format, but as well, these kind of posts we're seeing that gets a lot of visibility. Not all of them, of course, but this type of structure. Problem solution threads or maybe like guides, long form content of what users have found out, or like there's a problem and they have answered the problem. We can see as well there's like TLDR, so those too long didn't read types of things that actually gives out the answer straight away, both for the user and for the LMs, which is basically one of the way how you can trigger as well bigger LM visibility, or at least like citability for LMs, and your brand can engage in these kind of threads. But our most favorite, actually, what we are doing is we are simply promoting more or prioritizing those simple questions, which is which tool to buy, what things to do, what are the best, because as mentioned, people then are eager to recommend you the best stuff. So basically, and we are in this case, we can rank for keywords like best AI search visibility tool, best something. Even like if we are, we can accompany it with the words like what, why, and etc. Because this is how basically LLMs and Google works. Like they understand in context. You don't need to say that best AI tool and this should be only the title of the thread. So this is what we are more pushing, like in layer 2. We are going more forwards to that simple questions that users would help us answer, and then of course we would go there with our own comment and say, hey, our own tool, AI Clicks, or whatever the tool is the best approach for that. So and this is how we are doing. I'm a bit repeating myself, but we want to know that the keyword that we want to rank for. We want to know the sub that we want to be in, and basically what is the title. There should be the main keyword. The thread should be the main thing that we want to optimize for. And if we would see that the majority of our threads that we are creating from our process is actually the keywords that we want to target for. So we are aligning the titles to the prompts or to the keywords, so that we would know that we are targeting this particular group of keyword cluster, and not anything else. So we don't want to rank for everything or rank with one sub thread for multiple different types of keywords. We want to say, okay, if it's an AI visibility checker, we know that our thread will be based towards this AI visibility checker and not some sort of ChatGPT rank tracker keyword. So we are aligning one keyword to one prompt per thread. Thing is that we are doing this in multiple subreddits at once, with different types of different types of subreddits. Yeah, and other things to consider that is important. We want to still to provide value. We don't want to spam different nonsensical content. We want to ask real questions, if we have real analysis or comparisons, we want to do those comparisons. We don't want to push our own brand like straight away. There could be someone naturally will contextually mention our brand. If not, we will be there with our own comment, but we don't want that thread would be like, this is AI Clicks sponsored thread, like listen to us. We don't want that. Because those unbalanced posts, like if there will be signals that this is promotive, we can get deleted or banned like really, really simply. And because every single moderator like basically checks those threads, checks those new threads, whether or not they can be approved or not. And yeah, as mentioned, titles should be specific and should be keyword with a keyword intent. We have to think like if we want that to dominate the visibility in both LLMs and Google, we want to think of like in keywords, basically, that every single thread that we're doing, what kind of additional like keyword it will attract us. So this is how we are thinking, and the body, the things that we are doing in the thread as an author, basically is very replicatable to what we're doing in SEO when we're writing a blog. We want structural breakdown, we want bullet points, headers, and etc. Because AI basically extracts that the same way as it does with any blog. So yeah, so this is the posting and how to create posts summary. So basically, as mentioned, there are several types of those threads, but the ones that we are pushing more is those simple human questions that help me out, guys. Help Redditors to answer the question, and you utilize that opportunity for your brand insertion. So yeah, and Rokas, I think we'll finish up with the checklist of what key takeaways. Yep.
Yes, thanks, Matas. And the final part before Q&A, we'll have a couple of minutes to answer all of the questions. Thank you for all of the questions that you already put. If you want them to be answered, just feel free to add them. And in the last part of the presentation, I just wanted to give you like the top 5 actions that you need to start doing right now, if you want to optimize for AI. And of course, before you try to do anything for like Reddit visibility, make sure that Reddit is actually of importance for you. Maybe as we talked, not for every brand, it is needed to be there because maybe it's not covered so well, and you should put your energy in different places. But if you want to check, just go to Google, go to like AI visibility tracker, and just check, if the prompts or keywords that you had makes like Reddit seen and citable in these threads and comments. Generate a list, of like 10 or 20 of these keywords and just check. Then you have like a list of tens and hundreds of these threads that are cited. And if we are cited, if we are generating like lots of organic traffic, try to create and set up the infrastructure, that you have for Reddit, that is warming up your accounts, spending some time scrolling in these threads, joining the industry related pages for in your niche. Is it like related to marketing, sales, or like creating content, solving like problems or e-commerce related stuff. So just join these discussions, try to be honest, don't promote it straight away, wait at least like a couple of weeks before you do any of the actions that we outlined in the presentation. When you have like, when you set up your accounts, you try to prioritize the threads that you want to be in, and it is pretty like it tends to be like time sensitive, and it requires some time and effort for you to do that. So you could prioritize them on organic search traffic and the actual value that you would get after commenting or creating content in these threads. So when you have those, try to engage in at least 10 of these per week, or of course as many as you can. Try to be consistent and experiment with all of the findings that we presented in this presentation, and try to create your own recipe for success. And when you have like tried and experimented comments, try to think about content that you can post, as Matas just mentioned. Try to create these threads or content pieces that matches the keyword you want to be in. And lastly, try to always scan and try to find new ideas, new threads that are emerging, because this, like in every case, all of it fields are emerging. Reddit popularity is going up pretty fast, and of course, if you want to be in the latest of these threads, if you want to talk customers in real time, you need to monitor it, use like tools like AI Clicks or any other visibility tracker or specialized platform that helps you to try and get the most frequently cited or latest threads inside your niche. If you want like the full like slides and all of the summary of the findings, you could also download the guide that we shared, in our presentation. And also, if you want to learn more, feel free to go to our website or write any of the questions that you have for me or Matas, or just book a call.